welcome to our culture magazine on I-24 News, where we bring you the latest news in entertainment and art. We've got a great show for you. Today on the program, we talk to the people behind Winter Family, a women-only radio station in Somalia, and the Istanbul Biennale. All of this is coming right up, but first, some of today's cultural headlines. Actor Charlie Hunnam dropped out of the lead role for the 50 Shades of Grey film adaptation. The actor's announcement on Saturday claimed scheduling problems with the shooting of his TV series, Sons of Anarchy. The Hollywood press, though, seems to think that the actor might have second thoughts about the R-rated nude scenes and the possible reactions from the book's hardcore fans. The producers are still aiming to release the film next summer, and production is set to begin next month. Currently, no names have been mentioned to replace Hunnam. I'm willing to do nudity only if the story absolutely demands it. Actor Richard Gere is showing a new exhibition in Mexico City of photographs taken in Tibet. The exhibition is called Pilgrim. It includes 64 photographs taken on several trips the actor made to the region between 1981 and 1996. Gere, who is a Zen Buddhist, has been an outspoken activist for Tibetan independence for decades and has been banned from entering China. The goal of the new exhibition is to raise money and awareness for the Tibetan cause. Israeli comedy thriller Big Bad Wolves is enjoying success around the world, and this weekend it received an unexpected boost. Director Quentin Tarantino attended the screening of the film, which is heavily inspired by his work, at South Korea's Busan Film Festival. During a Q&A with director Navot Papushado, Tarantino took the mic and declared, "Not only is this the best film in Busan, this is the best film of the year." The director's endorsement comes only a week after he released his list of the best films of the year, which was topped by the film Afternoon Delight. Now, apparently, it has been overtaken by Big Bad Wolves. Winter Family are a French-Israeli experimental music duo. This week, they performed their theatrical piece, Jerusalem Cast Led, for the first time in Israel. The work presents a critical view of Israeli history using many of the country's symbols. With us in the studio are the members of Winter Family, Ruth Rosenthal and Xavier Klein. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Before we start chatting with you, let's take a short look at a piece of your show.
ולפת מזרח קדימה.
Après 2000 ans, partout dans le monde, les Juifs s'élèvent et reviennent en Israël. העלייה לארץ, ברגל, וזרמנו על ישראל. Les hommes de Liban, Yahas.
1er avril 1948.
So tell me a little bit about the piece. What do you try and deal with?
Maybe it's important.
Yeah, the subtitle, the name is Jerusalem Cast Lead, a hallucinatory trip into an emotional dictatorship.
Okay, if you think that helps explains it, you might be mistaken. It just means that I need further explanation.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. So the piece is about, well, in the big view, it's about nationalism, and it's about education, and it's about brainwashed, and how a history and memory is being built for political reasons, and how we all in Israel grew by the school and having our history and memory being manipulated into a thought, like a political thought.
Well, one could say, though, that every sort of teaching is inherently rewriting history in a way, that always there is some underlying message. Do you offer some alternative?
Yes, but there is no war everywhere, and I think there is specific ingredients with Israeli brainwash compared to the, I don't know, Arabic countries brainwash or European brainwash.
Whatever it may be, American consumerism.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever.
So there is a specific, very interesting ingredients based on memory, repetition of ceremony, of sadness.
Can you give me an example of something that you do on the show?
For example, I was very impressed when we recorded the Tikva in school. When kids they stop to laugh and suddenly they are so full of emotion and they sing the Tikva. For a French man like me, it's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't
not
see that.
Genuine.
You couldn't see that in Europe. I think today people suddenly so,
So what we think like the special and maybe somehow dangerous thing in that like history or in that education is the emotional part. Because it is fine to tell the story and it is fine to choose a narrative, but what is problematic is the emotional way. Yeah.
Right. Now, let me change the subject a little bit.
Yeah.
You're actually a band. You deal with music, and this piece was even written originally as an audio piece.
Yeah.
How'd you put it on stage?
Well, yeah, the audio piece for National Radio France Culture was more like
nice postcard of
nice
Jerusalem.
postcard of the Jerusalem. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so the
it
change was drastic.
It was still critical, and we used UN resolution as we use in the show, but it was still kind of like open, and so we wanted to focus on this emotional dictatorship, or we call emotional dictatorship. And the only way we could do it was on stage. So
Right.
And it makes sense for us because Ruth comes from theater and not from music, so it was a logic way.
Yeah.
Tell me, beyond expressing yourselves and your feelings, do you have a goal with this piece? Is there something that you hope it will achieve?
Well,
especially showing it in Israel.
Well, in Israel, it's very specific. I mean, it's very special for us, and it's not something that we just made it 2 times. We didn't think we can do it more. I mean, we're not going to play it more, probably.
How were the reactions?
Well, in Israel, it was very good, actually. Okay. Like, people were touched by it, and they were emotional about it, and they felt it very hard. In France, it's very different.
Right.
Very variated reactions.
Quite violent also.
But for us, it's like what we wanted to show is something that not a lot of people know about Israel, and it's not about the critical thing. It's just showing how education and how it's
influences.
something, and it's very like we don't see that about Israel.
Right.
A lot of people have a lot of ideas, but they don't know so much.
Thank you so much for your time and for coming to the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Soon we'll hear about the Istanbul Biennale, but first some more cultural events from around the world.
The Jeu de Paume Museum in Paris will hold a retrospective to Erwin Blumenfeld, one of the 20th century most influential photographers. He is best known for his work in the fashion industry, shooting more than 100 covers for the French Vogue. The exhibit will also showcase his experimental pieces, including portraits, never-before-seen drawings and early collages. It opens on October 15 and will run until January 26. The 57th British Film Institute London Film Festival is in full swing. Taking place over 12 days, the festival screens more than 200 new features alongside archive films. Among the dozens of Gleasy premieres was the European premiere of the recent blockbuster Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. The festival awards will be presented on October 19. The first ever Shaolin Temple Cultural Festival is being held at the Los Angeles Convention Center. It provides a rare opportunity for the general public and those who practice this martial art to watch the Shaolin masters in action. The festival, which runs until October 15, offers lectures, workshops and a tournament in which the winner will earn a 2-week training session at the Shaolin Temple of China.
Kazmo FM is the first radio station in Somalia operated entirely by women. In a country where women have not been free to express themselves, this is a very welcome change. Sandy Fortis and Avri Rosenzvi have more.
This Somali radio station is no less than revolutionary. Kasmo is the first woman-only radio station to be established in Mogadishu, which already has many other radio stations. The director is a woman, the program producers are women, and the technicians, newscasters, and reporters are also women. In fact, I believe it's the first radio station to take this positive step and broadcast women's voices in Mogadishu.
Somalia has gone through years of civil war between the weak central government and radical Islamic armed groups who seek to install Sharia law in the country and drastically restrict women's freedoms. The women's broadcasters on Cosmo FM are free to talk about anything, from light and entertaining topics such as fashion and cooking to much more serious matters such as sexuality and violence against women. The goal of the station is to entertain, but also to educate women. A difficult mission to fulfill because the level of education in the country has been dropping for years, particularly among women. Only 28% of young Somali girls go to high school.
The educational levels of women are low. For example, if parents have 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls, the 3 boys will often go to school and university, and the girls won't. This makes women very vulnerable and less useful in society. But the radio has awareness programs that tell parents that if a woman is educated, it's like the whole family is educated, and an educated family is like an educated nation.
The station only broadcasts in the capital between noon and 4 p.m., but has more than 500,000 listeners. It's a noteworthy success for a country of 10 million inhabitants and a promising start for women's rights in Somalia.
The Istanbul Art Biennale will wrap up at the end of the week after more than a month of mixing politics and art at a very sensitive time for Turkey. The exhibits deal with the Gezi Park demonstrations and other controversial issues. Let's take a look.
It was only last June when thousands of Turks gathered in Istanbul's Gezi Park to protest the planned construction of a shopping center in place of the green space. The protests quickly spread to the entire country, turning into riots. The events in Turkey sparked a creative wave among artists. Artistic passion is at the heart of the Istanbul Biennale, which opened its doors in mid-September. A biennale whose focus is the freedom of expression in the public space.
We have once again asked ourselves what is the meaning of public space, and we decided to create an autonomous free space where we could put community life to the test, where we could get together and discuss politics' place at the heart of art.
The themes that most interest the Biennale's visitors are the development of a public space and the advancement of Turkish society.
It's really talking to people because the exhibition is also talking about, for example, the urban transformation in Istanbul, the violent urban transformation, which is also threatening, for example.
The warehouse, which hosts a part of the Biennale, is scheduled to be demolished soon, and a hotel or a shopping center will be erected in its place, echoing the same controversy that loomed over Gezi Park. Art often discusses politics, but in Istanbul, politics catches up to the arts.
Now we're going to go and stay there.
Before we end today's show, here's a look at our top 5 unconventional sculptures.
The Little Mermaid in Copenhagen is our number 5. Sitting on a rock in the bay of the Danish capital, the mermaid recently celebrated its 100th birthday, but the mermaid is still as popular as in its early days. At number 4, the giant royal blue rooster, standing in Trafalgar Square since late July, raising criticism. For the Brits, the chicken is a symbol of French chauvinism. Advocates of British heritage don't appreciate this symbol of France in the heart of their capital. Coming third is a statue of 2, recreating the famous butt shot Zidane gave Materazzi in the World Cup final in 2006. The statue is currently on display in Tuscany. This sand sculpture's second place in our ranking is Pope Francis on the Brazilian coast. For a few days, it has become a real attraction for tourists keen to have their picture taken with the Holy Pope. Our number 1 is a giant dinosaur made entirely of Lego. It may not be around for 100 years, but isn't it impressive?
That's it from us for today. For more cultural news and other news, go ahead and check out our website at i24news.tv. You're also welcome to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and write back to us. Tell us what you thought of our show, but please no profanities. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please stay tuned for an upcoming news bulletin and make sure to join us tomorrow and the next day and the next. I'm Oded Grober. Have a good day.